Here's something most people get wrong about Apple. The garage story? Two Steves, a workbench, a dream. It's real. But the revolution almost didn't happen because one of those Steves never wanted a company, never wanted to be famous, never wanted $1 trillion. He just wanted to build a beautiful computer. And the other Steve? He didn't build a single thing.
What he did was something rarer, and in some ways, more dangerous. He looked at what his friend had made and saw the future. It's 1975. Steve Wozniak is 25 years old, and by every account of the people who worked alongside him, he is the most gifted hardware engineer of his generation.
He designs the Apple I in his apartment, hand-wired, elegant, denser and more capable than anything hobbyists had ever seen. He takes it to the Homebrew Computer Club in Menlo Park, a gathering of engineers and dreamers who share schematics the way other people share recipes. Wozniak gives the design away for free.
That's who he was. Generous, almost naive in his idealism. He wanted the thing he'd made to exist in the world. Jobs sees the same machine and thinks, we can sell this. They are 21 and 25 years old. They raised $1,300 by selling Wozniak's HP scientific calculator and Jobs' Volkswagen van and set up in the garage of Jobs' parents' home on Crist Drive in Altos, California.
April 1, 1976. April Fool's Day. Apple Computer is born. Within a year, they land a $250,000 purchase order. 1 year, a garage, 2 young men who couldn't afford office space.
The Apple II follows. Clean design, color graphics, a machine people actually wanted to own. Revenue jumps from $7.8 million in 1978 to $117 million in 1980. Then Apple goes public, the largest IPO since Ford in 1956. Overnight, Steve Jobs is worth $256 million.
He is 25 years old. But here's the thing about Steve Jobs that the mythology tends to soften. He was not easy to be around.
Brilliant, yes, visionary, genuinely. But he could also be withering, dismissing an engineer's 6 months of work in 30 seconds, then presenting that same idea as his own weeks later. He had a gift for making people feel small, and an even rarer gift for making them believe that extraordinary things were possible anyway.
By 1985, Apple's board had grown tired of both. John Sculley, the Pepsi executive Jobs himself had recruited with the now famous line, "Do you want to sell sugar water for the rest of your life?" turned against him. A boardroom vote. A quiet removal. Steve Jobs, co-founder of Apple Computer, was stripped of his role and pushed out of the company he had built.
He was 30 years old. What happened next is the part of the story that tends to get lost under the shine of everything that came after. Jobs didn't retreat. He didn't disappear into bitterness. He started over.
He founded Next Computer, expensive, ahead of its time, commercially modest. And then, almost as an afterthought, he bought a small animation division from George Lucas for $5 million. He called it Pixar. Pixar went on to make Toy Story, then A Bug's Life, then Finding Nemo.
The man who had been thrown out of his own company was building an empire in exile. Meanwhile, back at Apple, something had quietly gone wrong. By 1997, the company was burning through cash. Market share had collapsed. Products felt unfocused. Too many models, no clear identity, nothing that felt like a reason to care. Apple was 90 days from insolvency.
In desperation, the board acquired Next for $429 million. Jobs came with it. He walked back into the building he had been thrown out of 12 years earlier, looked at what Apple had become, and started cutting. He canceled most of the product line, simplified everything. Then he launched Think Different, a campaign built not around features, but around belief.
It wasn't a product announcement. It was a promise, and people believed it. What followed feels less like business history and more like mythology. The iMac, the iPod, iTunes, the MacBook. A company that had nearly gone dark, now setting the terms for an entire industry. Then, January 9th, 2007, Jobs walks onto a stage in San Francisco and holds up a small rectangle of glass and metal. An iPod, he says, a phone, and an internet communicator. He pauses, says it again, slowly, because he knows the weight of the moment. The iPhone.
Not just a product, the device that would reshape how 2 billion people communicate, navigate, create, and live every single day. Steve Jobs died in October 2011. He was 56. Steve Wozniak still tinkers, still teaches, still gives things away.
Apple is worth more than $3 trillion. But the number, enormous as it is, almost misses the point. What those two men built in that garage in Altosos wasn't just a company. It was a proof that taste and technology together can change what people believe is possible.
The garage on Crist Drive is a California historical landmark now. There is a small plaque on the wall, Birthplace of Silicon Valley. Not bad for a folly started on April Fool's Day.